Now we are going to transform these little scraps of clay into something called a Natasha bead. Here's a couple examples of what we're doing. And if you look carefully, you'll see. So you're going to start by getting a bunch of clay, scrap clay, and you want to chop it rather finely. You want to compact it. You don't want any holes in there. You're going to try and get the air out. You want to make it pretty precise. You can see here that the edges are a bit rounded. Find the middle and go straight down. Here's the trick you have to remember. You're going to flip. Put that towards me, and that away from me. Really try to line up that pattern. It's magic. I'm going to learn how to make tube beads. Learn how to use gold leaf, gold foil. This is if you can get a double pointed knitting needle. From the sphere, we're going to kind of just squish it a little bit into like a little, and go right straight down. You could just bake this in the oven. But we're going to add the embellishment. We're going to add that layer of gold to it. It's at the thickest setting on the pasta machine. Now, to get that crackle effect, all we're going to do is run it through the pasta machine. Change direction. Now I want to apply this to my, my tube bead. I'm going to lay the tube bead right down here. Carefully start to fold up this edge. Really slowly roll it up into, you would bake it at this point. Now, when you have tube beads, these beads are called Mobius beads. You can just cut a square piece of clay. In theory, all you're going to do is pinch these two corners together and these two corners together. You have to be a little patient. Hey, that's not too bad. Kind of push that inner part back up. See, I'm kind of rolling it a little bit like that. The general principle, you're just taking two opposite corners and pinching them together. So that is the Mobius bead. Very simple, but obviously a very, very effective technique, and it's actually a great way to use up scraps. We are going to learn a polymer clay version of Mokume Gane today. I'm going to stack those two to the back. We're going to add that to our stack. Leave it like that. Clay on top, clay on the bottom, and gold leaf in between every other sandwich. So instead of putting balls of clay all over, as you may see this in other instructions on the internet or anything, I just use a little bit at a time because I find I can contour it better. That's your goal. You want to use a super thin blade. That's the idea, is to cut layers off like that. You're going to end up with a whole bunch of little pieces like this. But you can just put those on. That is method number 1 for doing Mokume Gane.